I asked my in-laws why they didn't like me at Sunday dinner. My father-in-law said, "We like you fine. We just wish he'd told you the truth before marrying you." No one elaborated. My husband Evan sat frozen, fork halfway to his mouth. His mother became interested in her mashed potatoes. His sister Carrie stared at her plate. The silence stretched so long I could hear the clock ticking. "What truth?" I finally asked. "Nothing," Evan said. "Dad's being dramatic." His father set down his silverware. "Boy, you've been married 8 months." "Not now," Evan interrupted. "For months I'd noticed things, how his family seemed uncomfortable around me, how conversations stopped when I entered rooms, how his mother looked at me with pity. Someone needs to tell me what's going on," I said. "It's not fair to her," Carrie said. "She deserves to know." "Before what?" I demanded. Evan stood. "We're leaving." "No." I stayed seated. His mother reached across the table. "Sweetheart, maybe sit down with Evan." "I'm sitting with him now," I said. "Someone better start talking." "Your husband comes from a very old family," Evan's father said. "There are traditions passed down for generations." "What kind of traditions?" "The kind that don't end when you want them to," his mother said softly. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. "Some things are easier to understand when you see them," Carrie said. Evan grabbed my arm. "We're going." I yanked free. "I'm your wife. I have a right to know." "You don't want to know," he said. "The girl's already asking questions," his father said. "Better she hears it from family." The room went silent. They exchanged loaded glances. "Every generation, one son is chosen," his mother said. "It's been that way since 1862. Going back 8 generations. Chosen for what?" "To serve," she said simply. No one answered. Carrie was crying. "The contract requires a binding," Evan's father said. "A marriage. After 1 year, there's a ceremony." "What happens at this ceremony?" "Nothing you need to worry about," Evan said. "There is no fixing it," his father said. "You know the terms." My mind was racing. The documents Evan kept locked in his safe. The quick wedding. His refusal to discuss children. "Our anniversary is next month," I said slowly. His mother sobbed. Evan wouldn't look at me. "What happens on our anniversary?" "The previous wife didn't ask questions," his father said. Past tense. "Where is she now?" The silence was answer enough. I stood up. "I want to see proof." Evan's father pulled a yellowed envelope from his pocket. Original terms. Signed 3 months before he proposed. I opened it with trembling hands. As I read, the room started spinning. "Bound by blood. Sacrifice required. Transfer of essence. The 13th moon. This can't be real." I whispered. "I thought that too," Carrie said quietly. "Tell me this is a joke," I said to Evan. He looked at me then. His eyes were filled with something that made my blood run cold. Not love, not guilt, just hollow acceptance. "I'm sorry," he said. "I thought I could find another way." "You used me," I said. "It's too late," his father interrupted. "The contract is sealed. You spoke the vows. You're bound." They weren't looking at me like a daughter-in-law anymore. They were looking at me like something already lost. What exactly happens? His mother's face crumpled. Evan's father stood, pulling something from his pocket. A key. Old brass. Worn smooth. "At midnight on your anniversary, you'll be taken to the family estate. There's a room beneath the chapel. 8 generations of women entered that room. None walked back out. The key gleamed in the candlelight, but their husbands did. Stronger. Wealthier. More powerful. That's the bargain. That's what your husband traded you for. There has to be a way out," I said. They all looked at Evan. "There is one way," he said quietly. "One clause never used. But it requires a willing replacement. Someone who agrees to take your place. Someone of your own blood." My phone buzzed. A text from my younger sister. "Hey, just landed. Can't wait to meet your new family at brunch tomorrow." I dropped my phone. It clattered against the hardwood floor. "Don't you dare," I said, backing toward the door. "Don't you even think about it." "We would never," his mother said quickly. "That's not what we're suggesting." "Then what are you suggesting?" Evan's father picked up my phone, setting it gently on the table. "Your sister knows nothing about this. And she never will. Unless you tell her." The room tilted. I grabbed the doorframe to steady myself. I need to leave. No one stopped me this. I walked to my car in a daze, my hands shaking so badly it took 3 tries to get the key in the ignition. I drove home on autopilot, barely remembering the turns. When I pulled into our driveway, Evan's car was already there. He'd beaten me home somehow. Inside, he was sitting at the kitchen table, waiting. "You have questions," he said. "I have a million questions. Starting with, what the hell is wrong with you?" He flinched. "Fair." I paced the kitchen. 8 generations, 8 women. What happened to them? "I don't know the details," he said. "No one does. The ceremony is private. Only the husband and wife enter the chapel room. Only the husband leaves. And you were just going to let this happen to me?" "I was trying to find another way," he said, his voice breaking. "I've been searching for 3 years. Before I even met you. There are old texts, histories, accounts from other families with similar contracts. I thought maybe—" "You thought what? That you'd figure it out in time? That you'd save me at the last second?" "Yes," he said simply. "I know how it sounds. It sounds insane. It sounds like you knowingly married me to be some kind of sacrifice." "That's not why I married you," he said. "I married you because I love you. Because I thought I could break this." My laugh came out bitter. "Well, congratulations. You're about to be stronger, wealthier, and more powerful. Just like your father. And his father." And all those men who murdered their wives. We don't know they died, he said weakly. Don't, I said. Don't you dare insult me like that. Where else would they be? He had no answer. I need to pack, I said. I'm leaving. Where will you go? Away from you. Away from your family. They'll find you, he said. The contract is tied to bloodlines. To the family estate. You can run, but when midnight strikes on our anniversary, you'll be pulled back. It's happened before. In 1931, a woman fled to California. She was found unconscious on the estate grounds at 12:01 a.m. on her anniversary. The ceremony proceeded. I felt sick. So I'm trapped. Yes, he said, unless we find the replacement clause loophole. Or unless I can convince the entity we're bound to that I'm breaking the contract. Entity? He gestured at the contract papers he'd spread across the table. Whatever my ancestor made a deal with in 1862. It's not clear what it is. Some accounts call it a patron. Others call it something darker. I sat down heavily. This is actually happening. This is real. I know it sounds impossible, he said. I didn't believe it either when Dad first told me. I was 18. I laughed. Then he showed me the records. The wealth accumulation charts, the power trajectories. Every single man in our family, after their first anniversary, experiences a massive life surge. Dad went from middle management to CEO within 6 months. Grandpa went from local politics to senator, because they sacrificed their wives. Yes. I stared at him. How can you even look at yourself in the mirror? Because I've been trying to stop it, he said desperately. Every day for 3 years. I've consulted historians, occult experts, lawyers who specialize in arcane contracts. No one's been able to help. But you married me anyway. I thought I had more time, he said. I thought I could fix it before we got serious. Then I fell in love with you, and I couldn't walk away. I thought maybe love would be enough. Maybe if I loved you enough, the contract would recognize it and release you. That's not how contracts work, I said. I know. My phone buzzed again. My sister. I can't wait for brunch. Should I bring anything? I stared at the message. My younger sister. 22 years old. Just graduated college. Starting her first real job next month. Excited about life. Someone of your own blood. No, I whispered. Evan looked at me. What? I'm not doing that. I'm never doing that. I wasn't asking you to, he said. Neither was my family. We're trying to find another way. What if there isn't one? Then I'll take your place, he said. You can't. The contract specifies the wife. Then we find a loophole, he said. We have 3 weeks. We keep searching. I stood up. I'm going to my mom's house. Okay, he said. Will you answer when I call? I don't know. I packed a bag, threw it in my car, and drove to my mother's house across town. She was surprised to see me at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, but didn't ask questions. Just made up the guest room and brought me chamomile tea. Everything okay, honey? She asked. I don't know yet, I said. She kissed my forehead and left me alone. I lay in the childhood bed I hadn't slept in for years, staring at the ceiling. My phone kept buzzing. Evan, Carrie, his mother. I ignored all of them. Finally, a text from Evan's father. I understand you're angry. You have every right. But running won't save you. We need to work together. Please come to the estate tomorrow. There are things you need to see. Things that might help. I didn't respond. But I couldn't sleep either. At 6 a.m., I gave up and drove to a coffee shop. I needed to think clearly. I needed to research. If Evan's family had been dealing with this since 1862, there had to be records. Evidence. Something. I spent the next 4 hours in that coffee shop, my laptop open, diving down every possible research rabbit hole. Historical records, occult forums, legal databases. I found mentions of arcane contracts in several academic papers, binding agreements that transcended normal legal frameworks. One paper, written by a professor at a small East Coast university, mentioned something called consanguinity clause variations. Variations in blood relative substitution clauses often contain flexibility not apparent in initial reading. The key is understanding the original intent versus the literal wording. I called the number listed on the paper. It rang 5 times. Professor Holloway, a woman's voice answered. Hi, I said. My name is... I paused. Could I remain anonymous? Of course. What's this regarding? I read your paper on arcane contracts, specifically about blood relative substitution clauses. There was a long pause. Where did you find that paper? Academic database. I'm doing research. I see. That paper was supposed to be restricted access. But since you have it, what do you need to know? I have a theoretical situation, I said. If a contract requires a blood relative as a willing replacement, how is willing defined? That depends on the contract's origin era and the entity involved. Pre-1900 contracts often have different standards than modern interpretations of consent. What if the contract is from 1862? Then willing likely means aware and accepting, not coerced. But here's the interesting part, she said. Many contracts from that era include hidden outs, clauses that the original author buried because they had second thoughts, or because they wanted an escape route for descendants. Has anyone examined the original document with modern technology? Like what? UV light? Infrared? Some contracts had invisible ink annotations, warnings, instructions. The authors couldn't openly break the contract, but they could leave clues. I sat up straighter. How would someone access that technology? Any university with a historical documents preservation department would have the equipment. Where's the original contract stored? Family estate, I said. In a safe. You need to get it examined, she said. Soon. These contracts often have time-sensitive elements. Our anniversary is in 3 weeks. She drew in a sharp breath. Then you need to move fast. If you can get the document to me, I can examine it. I'm at Whitmore University, but you'd need to come in person. I can't risk this type of material being mailed. I'll be there tomorrow, I said. Wait, she said. One more thing. Be very careful who you trust. These contracts don't just bind the primary parties, they create incentive structures. Everyone around you benefits from you fulfilling the terms. Your husband's wealth, his family's power, even friends and associates connected to them. They all have reasons to ensure you don't escape. But my husband says he's been trying to help me. Maybe he is, she said. Or maybe he's just managing you, keeping you compliant, making sure you don't run too far or fight too hard. How do I know who to trust? You probably can't, she said. Trust yourself, follow your instincts, and get me that document. I hung up and sat back. My coffee had gone cold. I checked my phone. 15 missed calls, 31 texts, all from Evan's family, only one from my own mother. Hope you slept well, honey. I'm here if you need anything. I texted her back. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Then I called my sister. She answered on the first ring. Hey, are we still on for brunch? Actually, I need to postpone, I said. Something came up. Oh no. Is everything okay? Not really, I said, but I'm handling it. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you like Evan's family? She hesitated. That's a weird question. I know. Just answer. They're nice enough, she said slowly, but they're a little intense. Like, at your wedding, they kept staring at you during the ceremony. Not in a normal way, in this weird, sad way. I thought maybe they didn't approve of the marriage. My stomach dropped. You never mentioned that. You seemed happy, she said. I didn't want to ruin it. I need you to do something for me, I said. Don't go anywhere near Evan or his family for the next few weeks. If they contact you, don't respond. What? Why? I can't explain right now. Just promise me. You're scaring me, she said. Promise me. Okay, I promise. Are you in trouble? I'm trying not to be, I said. I'll call you soon. I hung up before she could ask more questions. Then I drove back to my house. Evan's car was gone. Good. I had maybe an hour. Inside, I went straight to his office. The safe was behind a painting of his grandfather. Evan had shown me the combination once, months ago, in case of emergency. I spun the dial. Click, click, click. The safe opened. Inside were stacks of papers, financial documents, property deeds, and there, in the back, a leather-bound folder. I pulled it out. The contract. The paper was yellowed, fragile. The handwriting was elaborate, old-fashioned. I read through it carefully. Most of it matched what Evan's father had told me, but there, at the bottom, in much smaller print, was something else. Should the primary beneficiary seek to dissolve this agreement prior to the consecration ceremony, they may do so by offering equivalent value. Equivalent value is defined as the sum total of all accumulated benefits received by the bloodline since contract inception, plus the beneficiary's own life essence. I read it twice, 3 times. Evan could end this, but it would cost him everything his family had gained, and his life. I heard a car in the driveway. I quickly photographed every page of the contract with my phone, returned it to the safe, and closed the painting. Evan walked in just as I was leaving his office. You came back, he said. I needed something, I said. He looked at the painting behind me, then at my face. You opened the safe. Yes. Did you find what you needed? I found out you're a coward, I said. He closed his eyes. You read the dissolution clause. You could end this. Right now. You could save me, but it would cost you everything. And my life, he said. Not that I care about that. But the clause is more complicated than it looks. How? The sum total of all accumulated benefits, he said. That doesn't just mean money. It means every advantage, every opportunity, every bit of luck our family has experienced since 1862, every business deal my great-great-grandfather made, every election my grandfather won, every promotion my father received. We'd have to return it all. Literally impossible. How do you give back a career? A political office someone held 30 years ago? A business opportunity that led to our current wealth? So you're saying it's a fake out? A clause designed to look like an option, but actually isn't. Essentially, he said. I talked to 3 different lawyers about it. They all said the same thing. It's deliberately impossible to execute. I pushed past him. I need to go. Where? Professor Holloway at Whitmore University. She specializes in these contracts. She thinks there might be hidden clauses. Invisible ink. Things we can only see with special equipment. Wait, he said. I'll come with you. No. You don't know who this professor is. She could be working with another entity. These contracts attract attention from dangerous people. I don't care, I said. I'm going alone. At least let me arrange security, someone to watch from a distance. I thought about Professor Holloway's warning. Trust yourself. Follow your instincts. Fine, I said. But they stay outside. And if I call you and tell you to call them off, you do it. Immediately. Agreed, he said. I drove to Whitmore University, checking my rearview mirror constantly. I spotted the security tail about halfway there. Black sedan, staying 3 cars back. At least Evan had been honest about that. The university campus was beautiful. Old brick buildings, sprawling lawns. I found the history department and asked for Professor Holloway. A student assistant directed me to the preservation lab in the basement. Professor Holloway was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with wire-rimmed glasses and ink-stained fingers. "You brought it?" she asked. I pulled out my phone. Photos. I couldn't remove the original. "That's smart," she said. "Let me see." I handed her the phone. She scrolled through the images, zooming in, squinting. After several minutes, she looked up. "This is impressive," she said. "And terrible. You're dealing with a Class 3 binding entity. Probably demonic, though not in the Christian sense. More ancient than that. What does that mean for me?" "It means traditional escape routes won't work," she said. "These entities don't care about legal technicalities. They care about power, essence, life force. Your husband's family has been feeding it for 8 generations. It's grown strong. Then I'm stuck." "Maybe not," she said. "Look at this." She pointed to a section of the contract I'd barely noticed. Small print along the margin. "This is interesting," she said. "The contract specifies the wife must enter the chapel room, but it doesn't specify she must be alive when she enters." I felt my blood run cold. "So I kill myself first? That's the solution?" "No," she said quickly. "That's not what I mean. What I mean is, these contracts are very literal. If you're declared legally dead, even temporarily, the contract might recognize that as fulfillment. How do you die temporarily?" "Medical induction," she said. "Cardiac arrest under controlled conditions. Doctors can stop your heart, keep you technically dead for several minutes, then revive you. If your heart isn't beating when you enter that chapel room, the entity might accept it as the sacrifice. Then you get revived." "That's insane." "It's risky," she said, "but it's the only loophole I can see. And you'd need perfect timing. You'd need to be dead at exactly midnight on your anniversary. Not a minute before or after. How would I even arrange that?" "Medical professionals who work with arcane contracts," she said. "They exist. Rare, but they exist. I know one. Dr. Finch. Practices in Vermont. He's helped others in similar situations." She wrote down a phone number. I stared at it. "What's the success rate?" I asked. "Honestly, about 60%. Some people don't survive the revival. Others survive, but the entity doesn't accept it as fulfillment. The contract just resets. So I might die for real." "Yes," she said. "But right now you're looking at 100% chance of whatever happens in that chapel room. This gives you a fighting chance." I took the number. "Thank you. One more thing," she said. "Don't tell your husband about this. I know you want to trust him, but his family has everything to gain from you going through with the original ceremony. They might sabotage your attempt." I nodded and left. Outside, I sat in my car for 15 minutes, just breathing. The black sedan was parked across the street. Security, or surveillance, maybe both. I called Dr. Finch from a coffee shop an hour away, after making sure I'd lost the security tail. He answered on the second ring. "Dr. Finch speaking. Professor Holloway gave me your number," I said. "I need help with a contract situation." "How much time do we have?" he asked. 3 weeks. "That's tight," he said, "but doable. Can you come to Vermont? I'll need to run tests, make sure your heart can handle the procedure." "I'll be there tomorrow," I said. "Come alone," he said. "And don't tell anyone where you're going, not even your husband. Especially not your husband." "Understood." I hung up and drove back home. Evan was waiting in the kitchen. "How did it go?" he asked. "She confirmed what you said." I lied. "The dissolution clause is impossible to execute. No way out." His shoulders sagged. "I'm sorry. What about your father's books?" I asked. "All those old texts you mentioned. Can I look through them?" "Of course," he said. "They're at the estate. In the library. I'll take you tomorrow." "Actually, I'd prefer to go alone," I said. "No offense, but your family makes me uncomfortable right now." "That's fair," he said. "I'll call ahead. Tell them to give you full access." "Thank you," I said. That night I barely slept. I kept thinking about everything. The contract, the invisible ink possibility, the cardiac arrest plan, the 60% survival rate, the fact that I might be dead in 3 weeks. In the morning, I told Evan I was going to the estate library. Instead, I drove to Vermont. 8 hours straight, stopping only for gas. I reached Dr. Finch's office at 5 p.m. It was in a converted Victorian house. Discreet, no signage. I knocked. Dr. Finch was elderly, maybe 70, with kind eyes and steady hands. "Come in," he said. "Let's talk." He led me to an examination room that looked more like someone's study. Medical equipment mixed with old books and strange artifacts. "Tell me everything," he said. I did. The whole story. He listened without interrupting, taking notes. When I finished, he nodded. "I've seen 3 other cases like this. Different families, same type of entity. All 3 chose the cardiac arrest route. Did they survive?" 2 did, he said. The 3rd didn't. Heart damage. She didn't tell me about a pre-existing condition. "I don't have any heart problems," I said. "We'll verify that," he said. "I need to run a full cardiac workup. EKG, stress test, echocardiogram. If everything looks good, we can proceed." "How does it work exactly?" "On your anniversary, at 11:45 p.m., I'll induce cardiac arrest using a combination of medications. Your heart will stop. You'll be clinically dead. At midnight, your husband will take your body into the chapel room, fulfilling the contract's literal terms. The entity should accept it. Then, at 12:05 a.m., I'll revive you. Total death time, 20 minutes. What if it doesn't work? Then you're dead," he said simply. "But if you don't try, you're facing whatever that ceremony actually involves. Based on the accounts I've read, it's worse than death." I spent the next 2 days in Vermont. Dr. Finch ran every test imaginable. My heart was strong, healthy, good candidate for the procedure. You'll survive the cardiac arrest, he said. The question is whether you'll survive the revival, and whether the entity accepts the substitution. What can I do to improve the odds? Be at peace, he said. Sounds strange, but these entities feed on fear and resistance. If you enter that chapel room already dead, already at peace, there's nothing for it to feed on. The contract gets fulfilled in the most technical, minimal way possible. I returned home on Thursday. Evan was frantic. Where have you been? He asked. I called 50 times. I needed to clear my head, I said. I drove upstate, stayed in a cabin. No cell service. You should have told me, he said. I was worried. I'm fine, I said. Have you found anything new? No, he said quietly. I've exhausted every resource I have. I don't know what else to do. I looked at him. Really looked. He was exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes. He'd lost weight. Whatever else was true, he was suffering too. I have an idea, I said. But I need you to trust me. Anything, he said. On our anniversary, I want to go into that chapel room alone. At midnight. You wait outside. What? No. The contract says I have to bring you. The contract says the wife must enter the room, I said. It doesn't say the husband has to be there. I checked. That's not how it's been done, he said. Maybe that's the problem, I said. Maybe all those other wives were terrified because their husbands brought them there. Maybe if I go alone, willingly, the entity will be satisfied with just that. That doesn't make sense, he said. None of this makes sense, I countered. But I'm asking you to let me try it my way. What's the worst that happens? I die? I'm going to die anyway. He stared at me, then slowly nodded. Okay, if that's what you want. It is, I said. But I need something from you. I need you to promise that if I don't come out of that room, you won't blame yourself. You'll move on. You'll live a full life. Don't talk like that, he said. Promise me. I promise. He whispered. The next 2 weeks passed in a strange haze. I went through the motions of normal life, had dinner with my mom, coffee with friends, responded to work emails, all while carrying the weight of what was coming. 3 days before our anniversary, Dr. Finch called. Are you ready? He asked. As ready as I'll ever be. I'll arrive at 10 p.m. on the anniversary night, he said. Is there somewhere near the estate I can set up? Somewhere private? There's a groundskeeper's cottage, I said. Empty. About 200 yards from the main house. Perfect, he said. I'll need you there at 11:30. We'll start the procedure at 11:45. What about afterward? If it works, I'll monitor you for 6 hours, he said. Make sure your heart stabilizes. Then you can go home. Tell everyone you survived somehow. That the entity accepted you and released you. And if anyone asks questions, tell them the truth, he said. That you died and came back. They'll assume the entity made that choice. They don't need to know we planned it. The day of our anniversary arrived. I woke up next to Evan, watching him sleep. He looked peaceful, younger. I thought about our first date, how he'd made me laugh, how safe I'd felt with him, before I knew any of this. I got up and made coffee. Evan found me on the porch. Happy anniversary, he said quietly. Is it? I asked. He sat beside me. I meant what I said. If I could take your place, I would. I know, I said. My mom called at noon. Just checking on you, honey. How are you feeling? I'm okay, Mom. Just a quiet day at home. Well, happy anniversary to you and Evan. 1 year. That's a milestone. Yeah, I said. It is. Love you, she said. Love you too, Mom. I hung up, blinking back tears. If this didn't work, that might be the last time I ever spoke to her. Evening came. We drove to the estate. Evan's family was waiting in the main parlor. His father, his mother, Carrie. They all looked somber. It's time, his father said. I understand the terms, I said. I'm ready. His mother started crying. I'm so sorry. If there was any other way, there isn't, I said. It's okay. At 10 p.m., I excused myself, said I needed some air. I walked across the grounds to the groundskeeper's cottage. Dr. Finch was there, setting up equipment. How are you feeling? He asked. Terrified, I said, but determined. Good, he said. Lie down. I lay on the cot he'd prepared. He attached monitors to my chest, an IV to my arm. This is the sedative, he said, showing me a syringe. It'll make you drowsy. Then the cardiac medication. Your heart will slow. Then stop. You won't feel pain. You'll just go to sleep. And then I'll wake up? If everything goes right? Yes, he said. At 12:05 a.m. I'll inject the revival medication. Your heart should restart. If it doesn't, I'll use the defibrillator. How will you know when to start? I have the exact time synchronized, he said. 11:45 p.m. for the first injection. At 11:59, your heart will stop. At midnight, you'll be completely dead. I'll wait 5 minutes, then revive you. What if someone checks on me before then? That's a risk we have to take, he said. But you told Evan you wanted to enter the chapel alone. He should honor that. Okay, I said. Let's do this. At 11:40, my phone buzzed. Evan, where are you? I texted back. Need a few more minutes. I'll be there at midnight. He responded immediately. Okay, I love you. I love you too, I typed. Then I turned off my phone. Dr. Finch checked his watch. It's time. He injected the sedative. Warmth spread through my veins. My eyelids grew heavy. Count backward from 100, he said. 100, I whispered. 99, 98. The room grew fuzzy. I felt myself drifting. Somewhere around 82, everything went black. I don't remember dying. One moment I was counting, the next I was aware of being not aware. Like being in a dream you can't quite remember. Then I was opening my eyes. Dr. Finch was leaning over me, holding a stethoscope to my chest. "Welcome back," he said. "Your heart stopped at 11:59. It's now 12:07. You were dead for 8 minutes. Did it work?" I asked. "I don't know yet," he said, "but you're alive. That's step 1. I tried to sit up. He pushed me back down. "Not yet. Your heart is still stabilizing. We need to monitor you." My phone was vibrating. 15 missed calls, 28 texts. All from Evan. The most recent, "Where are you?" "It's 12:10. You didn't come to the chapel." "What's happening?" I texted back with shaking hands. "I'm okay. I'm alive. Meet me at the groundskeeper's cottage." He appeared 5 minutes later, bursting through the door. "What the hell is going on?" he demanded. Then he saw Dr. Finch. "Who is this?" "Dr. Finch?" I said. "He helped me with a loophole." "What loophole?" "I died," I said. "At 11:59. My heart stopped. I was legally dead at midnight. The contract should recognize that as fulfillment." Evan's face went white. "You did what?" "I found a way out," I said. "The contract requires the wife to enter the chapel room. It doesn't specify she has to be alive. So I died first." "That's insane," he said. "You could have actually died." "But I didn't," I said. "Dr. Finch revived me." "How do you know it worked? How do you know the entity accepted it?" "We don't," Dr. Finch said. "Not yet. We'll know by morning. If she's still alive at dawn, the contract probably accepted the substitution." Evan stared at me. "You did this without telling me. You would have tried to stop me," I said. "Of course I would have. This was reckless, dangerous. It was my life," I said. "My choice." He sat down heavily. "I can't believe you did this." "Believe it," I said. We waited. Dr. Finch monitored my vitals. Evan paced. I dozed in and out, exhausted from the procedure. At 5 a.m., the first light appeared outside the window. I was still breathing, still alive. "I think it worked," Dr. Finch said. Evan's phone rang. His father. "Is she there?" his father demanded, his voice audible even from across the room. "Did the ceremony happen?" "She entered the chapel at midnight." Evan lied smoothly. "Alone, like she wanted. She came out at 12:05. "She's fine." "That's impossible," his father said. "No one has ever—" "Well, she did," Evan said. "Call me later." He hung up. "Your family is going to have questions," I said. "Let them," Evan said. "What matters is you're alive." By noon, I felt strong enough to stand. Dr. Finch packed up his equipment. "You'll need follow-up," he said. "Your heart went through trauma. See a cardiologist within the week." "I will," I said. "Thank you. For everything." He nodded and left. Evan and I drove home in silence. At the house, he finally spoke. "I don't know whether to be furious or relieved," he said. "Be both," I said. "I am." "Why didn't you trust me?" he asked. "Because everyone around you benefits from that contract," I said. "Your family, your wealth, your power. I couldn't risk you having second thoughts." "I would never have sabotaged you," he said. "Maybe not consciously," I said. "But these contracts create incentives. Professor Holloway warned me. Trust yourself," she said. So I did. He looked hurt, but he nodded. "I understand." Over the next few days, things slowly returned to normal, or as normal as they could be. Evan's family called repeatedly. They didn't believe him when he said I'd survived. Finally, his father demanded we come to the estate. We drove there on Saturday. The entire family was waiting. "Show us," his father said. "Show us you entered the chapel." "I went in at midnight," I said. "Alone." The door closed behind me. I stood there for 5 minutes. Then the door opened again. I walked out. "That's it. That's not how it works," his mother said. "You should have been taken." "Maybe the entity was satisfied with my presence," I said. "Maybe being willing was enough. Or maybe," his father said, "you're lying. Maybe you never went in." I turned to Evan. "Tell them. She went in," he said firmly. I watched her enter. The door closed. 5 minutes later, she came out. It was the lie we'd agreed on. The truth we'd decided was too dangerous. If his family knew about the cardiac arrest loophole, they might try to stop others from using it. Or worse, they might not believe it worked and try to force me back into the chapel for a real ceremony. His father studied me. "There's something different about you," he said. "Your eyes. Like you've seen something." "Maybe I have," I said. "Maybe that's what it takes." We left without further explanation. Over the next weeks, life gradually returned to normal. I went back to work, resumed my routines, but everything felt different. I'd died, come back, looked into the face of whatever entity my husband's family had been feeding for 8 generations, and I'd won. 3 months later, Carrie called. "I need to talk to you," she said. "In person." We met at a coffee shop. She looked nervous. "I'm getting married," she said. "Congratulations," I said carefully. "To Victor's son," she said. "You remember Victor? The man Dad wanted you to marry before you met Evan?" I remembered. The 42-year-old with 3 dead wives. "His son is nice," Carrie said, "but I know what this means. I know what happens after the first anniversary." "You have time," I said. "A year to figure something out. Will you help me?" she asked. "Will you tell me how you did it?" I looked at her. Really looked. She was 26, her whole life ahead of her, about to be trapped in the same nightmare I'd escaped. "Yes," I said. I'll help you. I gave her Dr. Finch's number, explained the whole plan, the cardiac arrest, the timing, the risks. It's not a guarantee, I said, but it worked for me. Thank you, she whispered. I don't want to die. You won't, I said. Not if I can help it. Over the next year, Carrie and I worked together. She married Victor's son in a small ceremony. They seemed happy, in the way people can seem happy when they're both trapped in the same terrible situation. As her anniversary approached, we prepared. Dr. Finch agreed to help again. We set up the procedure, ran the tests. The night of her anniversary, everything went according to plan. Carrie's heart stopped at 11:59. She was dead at midnight. Dr. Finch revived her at 12:05. She survived. 2 women had now escaped. 2 cracks in a system that had held for 8 generations. Word spread, quietly, through networks of women trapped in similar situations, wives bound to arcane contracts, daughters promised to entities, sisters caught in family obligations they never agreed to. They started reaching out, one by one, asking for help, asking for the loophole. I helped them, every single one. Dr. Finch and I formed a network. We refined the procedure, improved the success rate. By the end of the second year, we'd helped 12 women escape their contracts. Not all of them survived. 3 died during the revival. Their hearts couldn't handle it. Those deaths haunt me. But the alternative haunted me more. Letting them walk into those rooms, letting those entities take them. Evan struggled with it at first. The guilt, the weight of his family's legacy, but eventually, he started helping too, using his family's resources to fund our operations, providing safe houses, transportation, legal protection. His father disowned him. His mother stopped calling, but Carrie stood by us. And slowly, others from his family joined. Cousins, uncles, people who'd watched too many women disappear, who'd carried the guilt too long. 5 years after my anniversary, the estate burned down. No one knew how it started. The fire investigators called it electrical, but I knew better. We all did. The entity was angry. Its food supply had been cut off, but by then, we'd helped 68 women escape. 68 women who should have died, but didn't. 68 women who'd looked death in the face and walked back out. The contracts still exist. New ones are still made. Desperate people still make deals with entities they don't understand. But now there's a counter-movement, a network, a way out. And every time my phone rings with a new voice, a new woman asking for help, I remember that night in the groundskeeper's cottage, the feeling of my heart stopping, the darkness, the return. I remember Professor Holloway's words, trust yourself. I remember Dr. Finch's steady hands, his kind eyes. I remember Evan's promise, that he'd let me do it my way. And I remember that choice, the hardest choice I've ever made, to die so I could live. Now I help others make that same choice. It's dangerous. It's risky. The success rate still hovers around 60%, but 60% is better than 0. And 0 is what they'd have without us. So I answer the phone, I listen to their stories, I tell them about the loophole, I introduce them to Dr. Finch or one of the other doctors who've joined our network, and on their anniversary nights, I'm there, waiting in the darkness, watching their hearts stop, praying they'll restart. Most of the time they do. Sometimes they don't. When that happens, I sit with their bodies. I call their families. I tell them their daughters, their sisters, their wives fought back, that they didn't go quietly, that they chose to die on their own terms rather than be taken. It's not much, but it's something. It's resistance. It's rebellion. It's 68 women, and counting, who refused to be sacrificed, who found the loophole in contracts written by desperate men who never imagined their descendants would fight back. Last week, I got a call from Australia. A woman bound to a contract signed in 1889. Her anniversary is next month. She's flying here. Dr. Finch is already preparing. Evan asked me if I ever regret it. The risk I took. The danger I put myself in. I told him no, because the alternative was worse. Living as someone else's sacrifice. Dying to fuel someone else's power. This way, I live on my own terms, and I help others do the same. The entity that fed on my husband's family for 8 generations is still out there. Angry, hungry, looking for new victims. But now it knows. We fight back. We find the loopholes. We die on our own terms and come back stronger. And every time one of us survives, the entity gets a little weaker. The contracts get a little less powerful. The fear gets a little smaller. My sister called last week. She's engaged. To a wonderful man from a wonderful family. No contracts, no entities, no secrets. I'm so happy for you, I told her. Thanks, she said. You know, I never told you this, but that week you called and told me to stay away from Evan's family. I did some digging, found some weird stuff online. Old newspaper articles about missing women, all connected to families like his. You never said anything, I said. You were handling it, she said. I trusted you, and you survived. So I figured you knew what you were doing. I smiled. I did. Barely. She laughed. Well, I'm glad. Because I need you at my wedding. You're my maid of honor. I wouldn't miss it, I said. After we hung up, I sat on my porch. The same porch where I'd had coffee on the morning of my anniversary 5 years ago. Where I'd thought about my mother's voice, my sister's text, the life I might lose. I'd kept that life and helped others keep theirs. It wasn't the life I'd planned. It wasn't the marriage I'd imagined. But it was mine. Chosen. Fought for. Won. Evan joined me. handing me a cup of tea. Thinking about the early days? He asked. Yeah, I said. Feels like another lifetime. In a way, it was, he said. You literally died and came back. I laughed. True. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the sunset. 5 years of marriage. 5 years past the anniversary that should have killed me. My phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. Please help. My anniversary is in 6 weeks. I don't want to die. I looked at Evan. He nodded. He already knew what I'd say. I typed back. You won't. I'll help you. Call me. And the cycle continued. Another woman, another contract, another chance at escape. It's not perfect. It's not safe. It's not guaranteed. But it's hope. And sometimes hope is enough. Sometimes hope is everything.